What's up, everyone? It's your host, Ghost, coming to you with another wonderful video. How is everyone? Ah, sorry. Ugh, I just woke up. How you guys liking the new start time? The other day was, an accidental start. Well, not really accidental, but it was not a planned start time. It was just because, I got off work late, but I felt I had like more energy when I was doing my video. So I think I might try and uh, do my sorry, getting stuff ready here. I might start doing my videos around this time now because I feel a little more rested when I do them, so I'm not bone tired and producing shitty videos. All right, so all I got for you is this Matthew McConaughey thing. It looks like it was only 11 minutes. I didn't really um, like scour that hard looking for something because I figured this might be all I'm doing. So we'll see how long this takes. We'll see how long I end up getting it or doing it for. Oh man. Sorry, doing something. Anyways, so yeah. So I don't, we'll see what we what'll happen. I don't know how long this will take. I mean, it probably shouldn't take me very long because it's only 11 minutes and 39 seconds. So maybe we'll go back and see what Colin Noir says about it. Um, let's see. I'm just scrolling through the Facebook or the Twitter, see if I find anything else interesting that I might talk about. Oh, actually, there is something else that I saw. So there we go. Wonderful. I did see something before. Hold on. It was on my phone. It's actually theme, or it goes with the theme, gun stuff. There we go. All right. All right, fine. That one's going to be difficult here. All right, finally, fucking hell. All right. All right, so other news, gun related. The Fifth Circuit rules that the ATF pistol brace rule is likely illegal. So we'll look at that too, because I don't think this Matthew McConaughey thing is going to take very long. And we'll probably go and react to the Colin Noir video. Maybe you'll probably see something I didn't. All right, so without further ado, after that really long delay, let's get into it. I don't care about you, State Farm.
The Bipartisan Safer Communities Act was signed into law following the Robb Elementary School tragedy in my hometown of Uvalde, Texas. Now, part of this bill sets aside billions of dollars to make American schools safer. Problem is, not enough school districts that need these grants.
Okay, well, to make them safer, does that include guards? Because that would definitely make them safer. Bet it doesn't.
Know how to apply for them. And for those that do, it is a complex and expensive process. But now, we have a solution.
Matthew McConaughey announcing the new Green Lights Grant Initiative he founded with his wife, Camilla, to help schools access federal grant money for safety and security. I sat down with him for a wide-ranging interview about schools, guns, and American politics. We began the conversation with what sparked his school safety initiative, the massacre last year at Robb Elementary School in his hometown of Uvalde, Texas. I remember watching you at the White House. I've seen a lot of celebrities come to the White House on various causes, but I have never seen somebody do quite what you did when you stood at that podium just after the massacre at Robb Elementary and spoke from the heart.
Maite wore green high-top Converse with a heart she had hand-drawn on the right toe because they represented her love of nature. Camilla's got these shoes. Wore these every day. Green Converse with a heart on the right toe. These are the same green Converse on her feet that turned out to be the only clear evidence that could identify her after the shooting. How about that?
I mean, this was...
That just looked fake to me, honestly.
Something that obviously hit you really hard. Hit all of us hard, but really hit you.
Yeah, it did. It happened in my hometown. My wife was out of the country. She hears about the news, immediately writes me and says, we got to go down there. She cut her trip short, flew in, we packed up and headed out. And we had chaperoned around to the right places. Congressman Tony Gonzalez was already on the ground there and helped us go to the right places. We met many of the families. The families started to invite us into places and hardships that they were going through. They were inviting us in. We had families invite us in to come to the first viewing of their child. And that, to us, felt like we were trespassing, but the mother and father are going, no, please come in. So all of a sudden we were down there, and then Camilla got really close and ingrained with quite a few of the families and the mothers in particular. And when we left there, the consensus was, can you help make their lives matter?
Yeah.
So that led to us ending up in D.C. And then the president asked me if I would speak at a press conference there, and sure as hell I'm going to say no to that.
That was over a year ago.
Yes.
I remember what you said. You said that there's a window to get something done.
Right.
And something was done.
Here's the problem. That window's always off of the back of when emotions are high. And honestly, when emotions are high, it's never a good way to get things done, because when you try to, do things while emotions are high, it end up never being like the right thing. So,
bipartisan bill.
32 days later.
Yep. But now we're over a year past
Yep.
that, and you're trying to make sure that that's actually working.
Right. What I'm trying to do, my wife and I have started this Green Lights Grant initiative it's a follow through. All right. The first bill was passed to Safe Schools in 30 years.
Yeah.
And that's the Bipartisan Safe Communities Act.
Yeah.
It's got all these grants that can help secure schools physically. It's also mental health counseling for the kids in these schools. It's the first time it's happened. Bipartisan, it's come together. It's there. And it's already working in some ways. But there's billions of dollars that are still left to be spent.
I mean, it's follow through you don't often see, because this passed over a year ago.
Yes.
And billions of dollars for school safety. Great. That's awesome. And then you find out, you come along now, a year later, and the money hasn't gone out yet.
Well,
most of it hasn't.
Look, let me give you some numbers here. Congressman Gonzalez comes to me about 3 months after you outed and says, Matthew, Camilla, 119 schools, 112 applications, 0 awards. What are we doing? The math that math does not add. That's a 0 success rate. One, way too few applications. Number two, the 12 applications, we went 0 for 12.
Yeah. In
the districts right there where Uvalde just happened. So that's when Camilla and I started researching the country and going, I doubt this is just a problem down in South Texas. We know it's just a problem all over America. You got 14,000 something schools. This grant initiative, the Green Lights Grant Initiative, is going to connect those districts to those billions of dollars. That's there, available, and wants to be used to make it.
It suggests there's something wrong with the system. If you pass
and they
this,
admit
it's
it,
not-
though. The government admits that it
oh, shocking. The government is bad at implementing shit. Shocking. Who would have thought?
shouldn't be this complicated.
You said something else at the White House. You said that the middle ground is where most Americans are on this issue, the guns issue. I think you're right, but I've also been following the gun issue for years after tragedy, and nothing gets done on the gun side of it. So as part of the issue, the way it's framed, because it does freak out a lot of people that consider themselves strong Second Amendment.
Sure.
They think any measure is a measure towards confiscating all guns. So how do you speak to those people? I think that's
because it is. Let's be honest, it really is. We see that every single time they try to restrict the Second Amendment, it's always a step towards full confiscation. I mean, you look at Washington. Washington just passed a gun bill that prevents the sale of AR-15s. The most common self-defense firearm there is out there, like for home defense. It's like the best one for self-defense. That's why it's so popular. And that one gets restricted. And even though it's handguns that are the ones that, are used the most in various shootings, gang violence, stuff like that. Like for the most part, when it comes to if you hear about a shooting, odds are it was a handgun. But they banned an AR-15 just because it looks scary. So that's why everyone who opposes any restrictions are, they always talk about how it's always an attempt to eventually take the guns, because that's what they end up trying to do. You look at the pistol brace that looks like it either got struck down or whatever. that was just a gun, a device used to help stabilize to shoot, better, and that was banned. It wasn't. It had nothing to do. It didn't. It didn't shoot itself. It was like considered a gun on itself, basically, or something like that. And then you looked at what was it? The wasn't a pistol brace, but it was after the Las Vegas shooting, and God, I can't remember what that was. What was it? Sorry, I'm just looking because it's gonna bother me if I don't, find out. Bump stock. That's what it was. The bump stock, and that's just a technique to use to shoot more effectively. Well, it's a technique used to shoot more effectively. So, every single time they try to pass a gun control thing, it's always a restriction to eventually take guns because that's what they've said multiple times. I mean, fucking, you look at a lot of Democrats, and they've started openly saying, "Yeah, we're going to try and take your guns."
It's kind of what you were doing. At the White
Well,
House.
one of the things, it was just one word.
Yeah.
I went in there and flipped, seemed to get those hard Second Amendment defenders' ears to at least listen, and that was I changed the word from control to responsibility.
Right, they hate gun control.
No, that's dumb. Here's the thing: not every. Let me rephrase. It's not every, but okay. Hold on. Let him finish because I think I know what he's going to say. I didn't watch his White House press releasing, so FYI, but I did see like snippets, so I'm assuming what this
Control.
Well, control sounds like a mandate. And nobody wants to mandate. No one wants to be controlled. But responsibility is still something that we can all go, yeah, I'll take responsibility. And a lot of the far right or the Republicans, they almost feel like responsibility is a value that they have ownership of. And it's a sense of almost pride and honor to be responsible. So when the narrative got changed and the questions and started calling it gun responsibility, a lot more conversations I even noticed in the few days that we were there were able to be had from both sides, because the Second Amendment defenders could talk responsibility. They could look you in the eye and talk responsibility with someone from the other side of the aisle.
I mean, some of the issues that you specifically have talked about: universal background checks, raising the age.
Okay, universal background checks. What they basically mean is background checks for private sales. Here is the thing: you can't have a universal background check without a gun registry because there's no way to enforce a universal background check. And what does a registry do? It gives a list to the government of who owns what and how many things they own, and it makes things easier when they go and try and take the guns, because then they know, all right, this person has this many, that person has that many, this person owns them, this person doesn't. So that's why universal background checks are highly hated among 2A personnel.
Age for purchasing of assault rifles, national red flag laws.
All right, so the raising the age. All right, then let's raise the age to 21. Why should an 18-year-old not be allowed to defend themselves? I don't understand this. Because, say, let's put a scenario. 18-year-old girl, she doesn't feel very safe. She goes and buys herself a shotgun. and makes her feel safe because she has some protection. And then an 18-year-old girl who doesn't feel safe but can't get a gun because she's not 21. And then she gets her house gets burgled while she's there and all that. There's so why should an 18-year-old not have the right to defend themselves? I don't think 21 should be a handgun either. I think 18. If you're 18, you should buy whatever gun you can legally buy. If you're able to afford to buy a gun, you should be able to buy it at 18. If you can vote, you can buy a gun, regardless of what it is. And then red flag laws, fuck red flag laws. All it'll end up being done. All it ends up doing is depriving rights. That's what red flag laws do. And how do you know that? Well, you skips due process. You get accused of something, you get your guns removed immediately, skipping due process, and trampling over the was it the Fourth Amendment, unreasonable search and seizures. I was right, man. I'm good. Yeah. So and it skips the Fourth Amendment. There's no way to and of course, I guarantee there's no way to punish individuals that abuse the law. And it's already extremely hard to get your things back if you've been wrongly accused or have something seized from by the government. I mean, look at asset forfeitures. If the police stop you and you have like a large sum of cash with you, they can seize it because they think it's drugs. Look, I'm paraphrasing. I don't know it exactly by heart, but I know this is something that happens frequently. But they'll seize your asset, your asset, and then say it's like a 10 grand. Well, then to get that 10 grand back, you got to spend another 50 grand or something like that just to get the damn thing back, even if they don't end up charging you with a crime. That just happens frequently. So you don't think that's going to happen with red flag laws? They're just going to take your guns, and then you got to spend a bunch of money just trying to get them back? Yeah, fuck the red flag laws.
A longer waiting period for.
Why? Why should there be a waiting period? What if, again, 18-year-old girl, 21-year-old girl, she gets into it with her boyfriend. She doesn't feel safe, so she's going to go and buy a gun in case he comes and tries to hurt her. And she gets the gun, she buys the gun same day. Next day, boyfriend comes to try and kill her. She has a gun. Boom, protection. Look, let's be honest. If someone's going to commit, because what waiting periods are for the most part, what they're really for is this idea that if you do a waiting period, you'll prevent someone from committing a mass shooting or something like that. No. I'm pretty sure, I don't have any evidence, but I doubt that someone who wants to commit a mass shooting or do anything, harm a bunch of people with a gun, it's not something they did on a whim. It's something they purposely thought. Like if you look at a lot of mass shooters, I guaranteed when they got, when they went and when they went and got the gun, it was a long time before they even went to the step of buying the gun. Well, I mean, most mass shooters steal guns, but let's say, for the sake of argument, they went and bought a gun. Most, someone who's intending to do evil, it's very rarely a spur of the moment type situation. If it if it is a spur of a type, it's usually going to be in the moment. They're going to do it then. They're not going to, decide, go, buy, wait, take, and then go shoot. Like, no, it's going to be in that moment. So most of the time, when someone goes to buy a gun and it's something they want same day or anything like that, most of the time it's because, they've had an interaction, something's happened where they feel the need that they need something to defend themselves. So waiting period only hurts people that are trying to defend themselves. It doesn't hurt criminals. Like either criminals are going to steal them or they're not going to give a shit. They'll do the waiting period and still go commit the crime. It'll just take a little longer.
Assault weapons.
Yeah.
Do you need 1,000 parts or just one? CNC machine.
These are positions that have widespread approval among the American.
No, it doesn't. If it did, they would have been passed. It's not widespread. That's complete bullshit. It's 100% not widespread because they would have been passed. The stuff that's widespread, and a majority of Americans are going to be like, yeah, we agree with this. Those things get passed. It's widespread. It would have been passed. It's not widespread. Stop it.
American public.
87%, right?
I mean,
bullshit.
Fox News poll just earlier this year. Universal background checks, 87%. Allowing police to take away guns from people who have been shown to be a threat, 80%.
Here's the problem. All right. Here is the problem. Here's why I don't trust these statistics. You can make statistics say whatever you want, depending on how you frame the question. So let's go with that. That one he talked about, like 80% for people that want, the police to take away guns from people. What's
percent. Universal background checks, 87%.
bullshit?
Allowing police to take away guns from people who have been shown to be a threat, 80%.
There we go. Okay. So yeah, shown to be a threat. Absolutely. Who wouldn't want the police to take the guns away from someone that is shown to be a threat? But again, red flag laws, there's no due process. There's no, how do we verify that what the person is reporting to us is accurate? How is, the whole basis of red flag laws is you get a call, you go, the police go, take the guns, and then we'll see afterwards. That's the whole basis. So no, it's not approved. All right. This is bullshit.
Raising the minimum wage, 81%. Waiting period,
Bullshit.
70%. I mean, it's very
Bullshit.
rare to see any political.
Here's how you know it's bullshit. All right. What they're saying here is complete bullshit. If it was true, this stuff would be passed. It's not that widespread. This is complete bullshit.
Issues with that much agreement, and yet none of those things have been done.
Because it's not agreed to.
It's an interesting stat about the populace. Almost near unanimous. I mean, the populace
No,
vote
it's
is
not.
there.
Bullshit.
And how do the sides and the contingencies have? They're bunkered into their sides on this, and I don't know how the law works. But that was a question I had. Well, wait, can there be a populist vote on this, an uprising that says, look, you're not representing the masses. The law is not representing the masses. That math, you may know more about this than I do. That math should add up. And right now it doesn't.
Do you have advice to particularly Democrats on this issue who, the minute they speak about gun control,
Yes.
I mean, you mentioned one thing, get rid of the word gun control.
Right.
But even without that, do you have any advice on how they can speak?
Quit patronizing. There's a whole lot of Americans that need you to at least meet them where they are and what they're understanding and how they've grown up on this issue with guns in their lives and how most of them do handle them responsibly. Mm-hmm. So don't cast them down as being archaic or cavemen and women. And how could you? No.
Yeah.
Listen to them for a minute. And when you're coming in hot, which sometimes the left does, on this issue and many others.
Sometimes, well, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And is immediately saying, you idiot, you dumbass, what? How foolish. You've lost them. You've lost them. They get more defensive. All right? So come in and meet them where they are and try to hear where they're coming from first and understand that they have a viable stance, a viable position they're taking that they didn't just come up with last night.
I've heard you say that we're not as deeply divided as we're told we are.
No.
Really?
Look at the percentages we just talked about.
Yeah.
86%. No, but the two I was talking with my wife about this yesterday. It's human nature You don't slow it. You don't slow down to 35 miles an hour on the interstate because everyone's looking at the daisies in the rainbow in the field to the right. No, you slow down to 35 on the interstate going northbound because everyone's slowing down to look at the car wreck on the southbound traffic on the other side. We love the wreck. Yeah. We love it's entertainment. We don't put our finger on. We don't love to watch health as much as we like to watch disease. These two extremes have the microphone. Yeah. It's more entertaining. Trump's been great at selling fear. Fear sells. More.
Trump sold fear. Trump sold fear. Okay.
More than hope.
Could you see yourself running for something?
Could I see? It's more of a larger question for me is politics the category where I can be the most useful?
Or can you do more outside like what you're doing here?
There's a great question that I'm still answering. And as of right now, to be a private citizen with my wife and to come up with an idea like the Green Lights Grant Initiative to work with the government publicly to help them, not doing their job for them, helping them pull off what they set out to do in the first place. Yeah. There is argument that that's more useful than what I'm doing right now in a small way. Mm-hmm. But
to do the kind of big change.
Yeah, well, to do the big change, right? I mean, I'd have to be convinced that that's a category that could be quite useful in. And it's something that I think about all the time.
You do?
Yeah. Starting as the man I am, as a concerned father, as a husband, as a person who believes in people, as a Texan, as an American who's like, man, come on, I believe in us.
A refreshing perspective. Thank you, Matthew.
All right, so that's the end of it, or at least that part. He's clearly has no idea what he's talking about. That whole I changed it from gun control to gun responsibility. How am I responsible for the acts that evil people do? I don't understand this. All right, how am I the one responsible for the acts that evil people do? So that whole gun control, gun responsibility crap, and that's just crap. That's really just bullshit. Anyone who fell for that shit's an idiot. But let's see. You know what? Let's look and see what Colin Noir said. Because I was going to originally react to his video, but then I decided, well, one, I was fairly late and I was ready to go to bed. I was exhausted, so. So let me do that instead. I'll react to his video. Oh, and that pistol brace thing, it looked like it was just a mock thing, but basically they're the Federal or Firearms Policy Coalition. They said that they sent like a mock lawsuit against the pistol brace thing, and they said it most likely win on the merits of their lawsuit challenge. It's basically what was said. So anyways. Sorry. All right. So let's see the Colin Noir thing. Maybe he's pointed out some things I missed. Maybe we just, maybe I missed a lot of things. I probably missed a lot.
Matthew McConaughey as an actor. I've never met him, so I don't really have an opinion of him as a person. However, after the Uvalde shooting, Matthew McConaughey has taken on the mantle of being the reasonable voice in the gun debate. And I guess I understand that considering Uvalde is his hometown. However, as a result, Matthew sat down with ABC News and had a conversation about the gun debate. I'm going to give my thoughts about what Matthew has to say because a lot of it is honestly insidiously deceptive.
It shouldn't be this complicated.
You said something else at the White House. You said that the middle ground is where most Americans are on this issue, the guns issue. I think you're right, but I've also been following the gun issue for years after tragedy after tragedy,
Yeah.
and nothing gets done.
No.
Understand that when he says nothing ever gets done, he means more gun control. Specifically, ban semi-automatic rifles, and some want to ban all semi-auto guns on top of that. Have a mandatory gun buy.
Yeah, that's 100% right. Like, yeah, when they say nothing gets done, it's always there's not enough guns that got restricted, or there's not enough that.
Back of existing semi-auto rifles or all semi-automatic guns. Ban all magazines that can carry more than 6 to 10 rounds. Be able to take someone's guns without due process. Create a national database of all guns and who owns them, which they call universal background checks. Be able to sue the gun manufacturers anytime a criminal uses one of their guns to commit a crime. There's more, but those are the main.
Oh yeah, I forget about that one that they want, is to be able to sue gun manufacturers, which is dumb because you don't get to sue the automobile manufacturer if someone uses that car to kill someone.
Things they want done when they say nothing gets done.
Does freak out a lot of people that consider themselves strong Second Amendment.
Sure.
They think any measure is a measure towards confiscating all guns. So how do you speak to those people? I think that's kind of what you were doing. At the White
Well,
House.
one of the things, it was just one word.
Yeah.
I went in there and flipped, seemed to get those hard Second Amendment defenders' ears to at least listen.
Yeah.
And that was, I changed the word from control to responsibility.
Right, they hate gun control.
Well, control sounds like a mandate. And nobody wants to mandate. No one wants to be controlled. But responsibility is still something that we can all go, yeah, I'll take responsibility. And a lot of the far right or the Republicans, they almost feel like responsibility is a value that they have ownership of. And it's a sense of almost pride and honor to be responsible. So when the narrative got changed and the questions and started calling it gun responsibility, a lot more conversations I even noticed in the few days that we were there were able to be had from both sides, because the Second Amendment defenders could talk responsibility. They could look you in the eye and talk responsibility with someone from the other side of the aisle.
Changing gun control to gun responsibility is kind of like that meme I saw about Pizza Hut. You can put a cross on an old Pizza Hut building and call it a church. However, no matter what sign you put on that building, everyone still knows it used to be a Pizza Hut. And no matter what word you put after gun, it's still about more gun control. Besides, why should responsible gun owners be held personally responsible for the actions of criminals? So because a criminal uses a certain gun in a shooting, ban everyone from owning that gun. Because a criminal uses a magazine with more than 6 to 10 rounds, ban everyone from using those magazines. However, I don't see him telling the police to be personally responsible for the actions of criminals. Why not limit police to 6 to 10 rounds? Why not ban police from owning semi-auto rifles? You know why they don't do that? Because it's stupid. If gun control means holding everyone responsible for the actions of a few criminals, then gun control by its very nature will result in banning all guns, because criminals will always do criminal shit with guns. Because they're, wait for it, criminals. You can call it gun responsibility, gun accountability, or gun school for people who don't read good. In the end, you're still impeding on other people's ability to protect themselves because a criminal did some criminal shit. No, thank you. Just because you act good and throw around a couple of euphemisms while using voice inflection doesn't mean we're too stupid to realize that gun responsibility is still just gun control. The funny thing is, Matthew thinks he's doing something new. The gun control lobby stopped using the phrase gun control a long time ago. Now they call it common sense gun measures, or common sense gun safety, or gun violence prevention.
For gun safety. They don't even call it gun control anymore. It's gun safety. And now it's gun violence prevention. You know, it's you keep making it more.
Polish a shit, or what is it? You polish a turd, it's still a turd.
Obvious that it's something we should do.
Using soft words to get us to swallow poison is something they've been doing for decades. So you may be able to pull that gun responsibility crap with a bunch of old rhino FUD Republicans, but not with us. We've seen this playbook way too many times.
I mean, some of the issues that you specifically have talked about, universal background checks, raising the age for purchasing of assault rifles, national red flag laws, a longer waiting period for assault weapons.
Yeah.
These are positions that have widespread approval.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
80-something%, right?
I mean, if you look, there's a Fox News poll just earlier this year. Universal background checks, 87%.
Yeah.
allowing police to take away guns from people who have been shown to be a threat, 80%, raising the minimum wage, 81%, waiting period, 70. I mean, it's very rare you see any political issues with that much agreement, and yet none of those things have been done.
It's a interesting stat about the populace, almost near unanimous. I mean, the populist vote is there, and how do the sides and the contingencies have? They're bunkered into their sides on this, and I don't know how the law works. But that was a question I had. Well, wait, can there be a populist vote on this, an uprising that says, look, you're not representing the masses. The law is not representing the masses. That math, you may know more about this than I do. That math should add up, and right now it doesn't.
I honestly, I hate these stupid polls because they're so misleading. And you realize how misleading they are when you look at how the polls are conducted. If you read Fox News' poll methodology, it says Fox News polls includes interviews with a nationally representative sample of approximately 1,000 registered voters who were randomly selected from a national voter file and spoke live with interviewers on both landlines and cell phones. I understand it's virtually impossible to ask everyone in the country their opinion, but 1,000 people out of the 300 million people we have in this country is borderline comical. So I don't give these polls very much weight. However, what I do is use common sense. Politicians only do what keeps them in office. If 80% or more of the country truly agrees with these measures,
see, there, no, we agree. Apparently, I just made that point. I literally just made that point. That's hilarious. I didn't watch this. I swear, honest. I didn't watch this. His video. That everything I said when I first watched it was my own. So
they would have been done already. The reasons they have not been done is clearly because the majority of the country doesn't agree with these measures. Sure, they'll try to blame the spooky gun lobby, but the gun lobby is nothing more than a collection of different groups that receive money by way of donations from gun owners so that they can fight against overreaching gun control laws. Whereas with the gun control lobby, also has the same thing, but on top of that, they have the mainstream medias and a bunch of billionaires who can back them financially with their own agendas. So this means the vast majority of people don't agree with these measures, because if they did, scores of people wouldn't be donating money to 2A groups to fight these very measures.
Yes, you mentioned one thing, get rid of the word gun control.
Right.
But even without that, do you have any advice on how they can speak?
Quit patronizing. There's a whole lot of Americans that need you to at least meet them where they are and what they're understanding and how they've grown up on this issue with guns in their lives and how most of them do handle them responsibly. Mm-hmm. So don't cast them down as being archaic or cavemen and women. And how could you? No. Yeah. Listen to them for a minute. And when you're coming in hot, which sometimes the left does, on this issue and many others.
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And is immediately saying, you idiot, you dumbass, what? How foolish. You've lost them. You've lost them. They get more defensive. All right, so come in and meet them where they are and try to hear where they're coming from first and understand that they have a viable stance, a viable position they're taking that they didn't just come up with last night.
I've heard you say that we're not as deeply divided as we're told we are.
No.
Really?
Look at the percentages we just talked about.
Yeah.
86%. No, but the two on I was talking with my wife about this yesterday. It's human nature. You don't slow down to 35 miles an hour on the interstate because everyone's looking at the daisies in the rainbow in the field to the right. No, you slow down to 35 on the interstate going northbound because everyone's slowing down to look at the car wreck on the southbound traffic on the other side. Right. We love the wreck. Yeah. We love it's entertainment. We don't put our finger on. We don't love to watch health as much as we like to watch disease. These two extremes have the microphone. Yeah. It's more entertaining. Trump's been great at selling fear. Fear sells more than hope.
Could you see yourself running for something?
Could I see? It's more of a larger question for me of is politics the category where I could be the most useful?
I want to believe what he's saying so bad, but I have to call bullshit. I call bullshit because the gun community is more than willing to have that conversation, but you all never want to. I mean,
that's 100% true. I mean, let's be honest. Whenever school shooting happens or anything like that, the first thing the left does is say, oh, take guns, take all the guns, take the guns, take the guns, take guns. We need to ban guns, more gun control, blah blah blah. And pro 2A people say, well, criminals aren't going to listen to the laws anyways. So how about instead of banning guns, you provide security guards that are armed, because we've seen that security guards have prevented, not just having armed guards at a school has prevented mass shootings 100% of the time, honestly, or most of the time, anyways. Not 100%. That was a lie. No, but most of the time, an armed guard in front of a school will cause a shooter to move on. Like, there's that shooting in Texas, or not Texas, in New York, in like Buffalo, New York. And the guy specifically said, he's like, oh, I went to one place, I specifically went to this one area because I know it was strong on, gun control and not allowing people to have guns or bringing guns around. So I went to this specific area because of that.
I mean, you say you want to, you talk about we need to meet them where they are and listen to them. But even now, you're on ABC News, a left-leaning mainstream media platform that is predominantly pro-gun control.
Yeah, if he was really wanted to reach out, he'd contact Colin Noir, who's like the face of 2A. He had to, and talk to him and do an interview with him.
You aren't doing interviews with people in the actual gun community. When have you sat down and had a conversation with the biggest voices in the gun community? You haven't. Hell, David Hogg is one of the most visible gun control activists in the country, and he backed out of a debate when he found out it was going to be with me. You're only listening to push gun control. I hear you, but how about gun control? I feel you, but how about gun control? Never has any one of you said, okay, how do we keep schools safe while still protecting people's 2A rights? No, it's you either vote with us on this issue or you hate children and want them all to die. Oh, you care about your guns more than you care about saving lives. Never once stopping to think, well, maybe these people want these guns because they see them as a better way to protect the things that they love and care for. You don't know this or ask this because you don't care. Never do you say, okay, let's try working with mental health organizations like Walk the Talk America, who is legitimately trying to find ways to improve mental health in this country while respecting and protecting people's 2A rights. You all never do this. It's always do what we want you to do or you want dead babies. So as likable as Matthew is, I call bullshit on the whole meet them where they are because y'all never do it. You only go on left-leaning pro-gun control platforms and at best maybe talk to a few rhino FUD Republicans who could care less about the Second Amendment and would as soon as vote for gun control if they could get away with it. So until you start actually speaking with the gun community, you're just acting. I'm not saying Matthew doesn't care about saving lives. I believe he does. I also believe he has political aspirations and is trying to be the centrist politician, which I don't have a problem with. What I have a problem with is the dream selling. Meet Americans where they are in gun control, but then only go to pro-gun control platforms. So until you start actually speaking with the gun community, you're just acting. Now, I know you're wondering, why am I wearing a Virginia shirt with a Texas hat? Well, how else am I going to shamelessly tell you about the Keep America Tactical collection on shop.mrcoleonthewar.com? You see, sadly, most of the anti-gun politicians believe in banning the AR-15. Believe me, if any of them get the opportunity to make this happen, they will try to do to keep America tactical.
Okay, cool. So that was just his, plugging his merch and whatnot, which should do. So yeah, definitely follow Colin Noir and watch his videos. Definitely, 100%. But yeah, it's interesting. So I think most of the points he made, I made too. So that's kind of nice. Like I said, I didn't watch his video, so it's nice. I like the fact that I, was able to, basically agree with what he said. But anyways, all right. So yeah, that's it. That's the Matthew McConaughey interview and the Colin Noir breakdown. You heard my opinions. I think I was pretty good. Pat on the back for me. All right. So one more thing. This just came out. So it looks like President Trump got indicted again for January 6th, or maybe not got indicted again. But anyways, so his former vice president, I'm sorry, Mike Pence, put out a statement. Let me see. Okay, so it just looks like this is his third indictment that he's yeah. So yeah. So indicted again. Yeah. All right, cool. All right. So this is Mike Pence's comment. This is why he's not going to become president at all, because he's a fucking moron. Because here's the thing. Trump is leading like I think 50 points. He's got a 37% point advantage over Ron DeSantis. So he's got like a 54% likely voters. So yeah, he's owning the polls. So Mike Pence is a fucking idiot. All right. So anyways, this is what he just issued, his statement on Trump's latest indictment. It's over January 6th. Well, I'll get into that. All right. Mike Pence today issued the following statement on the news of former President Trump's indictment. Today's indictment serves as an important reminder. Anyone who puts himself over the Constitution should never be president of the United States. I will have more to say about the government's case after reviewing the indictment. The former president is entitled to the presumption of innocence, but with this indictment, his candidacy means more talk about January 6th and more distractions. All right, so there we go. So that's what Mike Pence, the never going to be president guy, because it's a dumb fucking statement. It's a really dumb fucking statement. Yeah, I just looked at Twitter. Charlie Quirk just tweeted, "Who does he think his audience is exactly?" Exactly. Like, look, the people who are going to vote for you were more than likely going to be Trump voters, Trump supporters. All right. So, anyways, like I said, that's all I got for y'all today. I hope you guys liked this video. It was a heavily gun thing. I am a proud 2A supporter. Yeah. So I think the Second Amendment is the most important amendment we have. I think it's even more important than the First Amendment because it protects the First Amendment. And I don't think many people understand that. Like 2A is the one that protects all the other amendments. Because the first thing a tyrannical government does is to take guns. Or, the first thing a tyrannical government does is take guns. So 2A is always the one that protects all the other guns. So, anyways, like I said, I hope you liked the video. Hope you liked my opinions. Okay. Anyways, make sure you follow me on X, the new name for Twitter, at official W Ghost. Follow me on Rumble and YouTube with Ghost, and then Gaming with Ghost is on Rumble and Kick as well. Here is my gaming one, Gaming with Ghost, right there. Look at that. I am 9 away because both my channels I got 5 people following me each. So I am 9 away from being able to have my own unique code. So 9 more people follow me. Come on, do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. But yeah, so follow me. Gonna say something else, but apparently not. But yeah, tune in, and I think I'm gonna start doing my shows an hour later, 6:30. I have a lot more energy. I'm not so exhausted, so let's try. So we'll try 6:30 from now on, 6:30 Pacific for my new show time. That may change in the future. I might be changing schedules. I don't know yet at the time. But yeah. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed. Like I said, I hope you all enjoyed my video. I think this was a very good video. It was really nice that me and Colin Noir both had the same opinions when it comes to this shit, because we both think the politicians are fucking idiots. And although I like Matthew McConaughey as an actor, he's a fucking moron. But I understand. It's hard when something happens in your own hometown, and you want to. It's always that. Whenever there's a mass shooting, you always want to do something. It's always you want to do something. That's always the basis. I want to do something. And just because you want to do something doesn't mean it's the right thing. But yeah, anyways, hope you liked the video. I hope you have a good day, and yeah, make sure you like and subscribe. All right, very important, those likes and subscriptions make me feel important. All right, peace out, y'all.